and it's a constant thing. So they're always in. It's always like they just learn whatever they're talking to you about. Whereas for the rest of us, we don't always have it up front, what we've learned. We forget, or else we didn't even get there yet. Okay, chapter 20, written by King David in response to the miracles that Hashem performed to save his life. This is a psalm that we recite when people are in trouble, beseeching help from above. Yancha Adonai b'yem tzara. Hashem answers you on the day of your distress. Yisagevcha Shem Elohei Yankev. The name of the God of Jacob should support you. Yishach Ezocha Mikodesh. He should send help to you from his holy chamber. Umitzion Yisadeka, and from Jerusalem, called Zion. He should help you. Yizkar kol min, verse 4. Yizkar kol min chaysecha, he should recall all your offerings. Vo'ilasecha, your sacrifices. Yidach nasela, they should be graciously accepted. Yiten l'chahil vavecha, and he should grant you your heart's requests. V'chol atzasecha yamale, and the good resolutions that you make to improve for the future. He should enable you to be able to keep them successfully. 6. Let us rejoice in your salvation, Hashem. Uvashem Eloheinu Nidgel, and let us raise the banner of our God on high. Yamale Adonai Kol Mishalesecha, and Hashem should fulfill all of your heart's requests. Now I know, says King David, Ki Heshia Adonai Mashiach, Hashem saves his anointed one. Yanehu Mishmei Kodshe, he answers him from his holy heavens. B'gevures, with might. Yesha, salvation. Yamine, from his right hand. Elev Rechav, some come with their chariots, their tanks, their armored vehicles. Ubasusim, and with their cavalry and their missiles. V'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazkir, we come with the name of God on our lips. Hema karu v'nafalu, they stumbled and fell. V'anachnu kamnu v'niseidad, we arose and we are standing stalwart. Adonai Hashem Elok Ranenu v'yim karenu, may Hashem deliver us on the day that we call unto him. So the name of the young man who was assassinated, a colleague, it's like family. It's one of our family. Brother. A shliach of the Rebbe. It's an attack, a shliach of the Rebbe. When you attack a person, you attack his family, you attack his parents, you attack his Rebbe. So we learn Mishnah according to his name. So we'll do a little bit each day. His name is a short name, Tzvi. There are 3 letters in the Tzvi, means that sometimes goes together with the name Hirsch, which is Yiddish for a deer. Tzvi is a deer. Land of Israel is compared to a deer. Oh, see pictures of the deer leaping over the hills. So here's a Mishnah from the laws of the Sabbath, the Holy Sabbath, and it begins with the word, with his name, with Tzvi. Got it? Here's the page, right there. Tzvi, a deer. What's the law? If a deer comes into a person's house, Shenichlas Lebayas, he comes into someone's house, V'no al echad b'fanav, and a person closes the door. So you trap the deer inside. That could be supper. Are you allowed to trap an animal on Shabbos? No. So the question is, I didn't really do anything. I just closed the door. Did I violate the Sabbath? Did I break the Sabbath? And the answer is yes, he's chayav. Now, as a question, I don't want this deer to go out and eat my rose garden. But the door is too heavy for me to close it by myself. And if I can get somebody to help me, then I didn't close the door, we closed the door. If two people do it, are we both guilty? Is one of us guilty? Are any of us guilty? Did we break the Sabbath? And there are laws also similar to this about carrying. If I have a basket of food and I stick it out the window and a poor person outside takes it from my hand, did I do something?
Yes, because your intention was not to do it purposely, but to have an excuse.
Well, but the carrying involves two steps: picking up and putting down. If I pick up and I don't put down, then I didn't transfer property. That's now called carrying. Carrying means picking up in one place and putting down in another place. Or picking up outside. If the poor man stands outside and he has a basket, an empty basket, and he hands it inside and he puts it down in the hand of the householder, the lady or the man, and they put food in it. So the poor man, he lifted it up, he put it in the window, and he put it down. He transferred the basket. What if he lifts it up and puts it in, and he doesn't put it down? The lady takes it from his hand and puts it down. So she didn't lift it up, but she put it down. He didn't put it down, he lifted it up. Two people do something together. Did anybody break Shabbos? So that's the question. If two people close the door, if two people close the door together, then they are both exempt. What does it mean, exempt? It means they broke Shabbat, they broke the Sabbath. The rabbis are going to tell us, yes, they broke Sabbath, but they didn't break the Torah law of keeping the Sabbath. They broke a rabbinical enactment. The rabbis made a fence around the Torah, like you make a fence around the rose bush, so nobody will destroy the roses. So they made a fence. They said two people who do it, it's patur. That is, means you didn't do a biblical transgression. You don't have to bring an offering of atonement to the Beis Hamikdash. If you do something by accident, then you have to bring an offering to atone for your mistake. I didn't, riding along on your scooter, and you didn't pay attention, you hit somebody, and not. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Okay, but you did it. So it's a problem. But I didn't mean it. Okay, it's not a deliberate problem, but you had an accident. So here, similarly here, it's not a deliberate transgression, but the Rabbanim said it is a transgression. You have to be more careful. So you don't have to bring an offering to the Beis Hamikdash, but you're gonna have to atone for it in some other way. However, so if two people together push the door closed and trap this deer inside, they're both exempt. They didn't violate biblically the Sabbath. But the rabbis are saying it's called patur. They're exempt, but it's asur. It's forbidden. So if two people close the door together, they're both exempt from bringing an offering for a biblical transgression. If, however, the door could not be closed by one person alone, it's too heavy, or there are too many locks, you need two people to do it. And they do it together, they get it done. If together they get it done, then they both broke the Sabbath. We needed two of them to do it, and they did it. Okay. However, Rabbi Shimon, that's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he says that they are exempt. Okay, that's a Mishnah that begins with the word Tzvi, and that's the name of the person that we are mourning, sitting Shiva for him this week. Rabbi Tzvi Kogan, he is a priest from the family of Aaron HaKohen. His family have been priests for over 3,336 years. And his children in Mitzvah Hashem will grow up to be priests like he is. Okay. Tanya. Since there's only 3 letters in his name, so we'll do the tzaddik today, and the base, Tzvi is written tzaddik, base, yud. So tomorrow we'll do base. Friday we'll do yud. Okay, Adina. Welcome, Adina. Have you learned Tanya? I think you've learned Tanya before, right?
Just a little bit, but it's been a while.
A little bit?
What?
You say just a little bit?
I learned it, but things like that, you have to keep on learning.
One thing I must tell you is that the acoustics in this room are gefährlich. That's Yiddish. It means, you know what it means? Can you guess? Horror, terrible. The acoustics are so bad that I can almost never make out a word from that far away. I hear you speaking, but I can't make out the word. I don't hear the letters clearly enough. So please speak slowly and clearly. We're learning chapter 3 in the Tanya that the DNA of creation is tenfold. What can you think of that has 10 in it? A significant number in the Torah.
Commandments.
Commandments.
Yay.
The 10 commandments. Right. And the 10 commandments correspond to the something else, what's also 10. The 10 sayings with which Hashem created the world. In the very first chapter of the book of Genesis, Bereshit, 10 sayings, just like it's getting cold, you're going to buy a pair of gloves with 10 fingers. Why do you have 10 fingers? Same reason. This is the DNA number, the perfect number. And your spiritual makeup will also reflect this number because we're created in the image of Hashem. So Hashem's divine image is a tenfold image, a spiritual image, not a physical image, heaven forbid, but a spiritual image. And the spiritual image is made up of two different categories. We learned this, called mothers, 3 mothers, and 7 doubles. Mothers are called mothers because mothers have children. And that stands in our spiritual makeup for our intellect up here, right, left, and back. Inspiration, development, connection. How do your thoughts get down to your heart? They have to pass through the passageway, the Straits of Magellan here, in the back of your neck to get down your spine into your heart. And once they're in your heart, then you do something about it. There's a sign on the trees. I saw it this morning, a new sign on the trees. 30%, 3 out of 10 kids in your class are going to marry out, heaven forbid. What are you going to do about it? That's the sign on the trees. What are we doing about it? Very, very big problem. A very big problem. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? It's how you feel about it. If you feel like doing something about it, it's possible you will do something about it. But thinking about it, thinking doesn't lead to doing. Thinking can only lead to feeling. Feeling causes doing. So on the level of doing, there are 7 stages, 7-step program. And they correspond to the, come on, Rivka.
7 days of creation.
Slowly. And clearly, I didn't hear it, Dina.
Repeat the question.
What is the 7-step program?
Days of creation.
7 days of creation. Who said that? Petra. Okay. Yael said it. 7 days of creation are, in fact, the paradigm. Is that the right word? I never used the word before. The paradigm for all creation. Creation always takes place in 7 stages. Like the 7 days of the week. Sunday, you start doing the shopping, and then Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, we gotta definitely do the shopping today. Thursday, you do the cooking. Friday, you prepare the candles, clean the house. 7th day is Shabbos. I love the Shabbos. Okay, so the 7 days of creation, there it is on page 67. You see it there, 7 days of creation, which correspond to 7 emotional drivers that lead you to do everything that you do. So we have intellect, threefold, three mothers. They have children. The children of the mothers, the children of your ideas are your feelings. And your feelings are 7-fold. So we have a 3-fold structure and a 7-fold structure. Together they make a 10-fold structure, which is the structure of creation. All right? The 3 midas we learned, the 3 aspects of the mind is our inspiration. I got it. Well, what did you get? I don't know, I can't. Teacher, I know. What is it? I don't know how to say it. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I can't say it. I had a dream. I can't remember what it was.
Can't figure it out. But they have the idea, they just can't figure it out. Slowly.
Right. Clear. Just come and sit here. It's much easier. I don't bite. And say a bracha. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam. Shahakol nir b'dvarei.
They have the idea in their head, but they can't figure out how to do it physically and make those changes.
There you go. So it's in the head.
But yeah.
The first inspiration is the level called the potential of the intellect. It's nothing substantial at all. It's just the potential. And we call it in English wisdom. The source, it's wise. Oh, very wise idea. What is it? It's not so easy to explain. Get it? But we'll work on it. Okay, let's try and explain it. That's the left side of the heart, the head. Now let's not forget it. Let's do something about it. That's the back of the head. That's connection. Then it goes down the spine into your heart. You like it? Okay, let's do it. That's step number 1. I like it. I want to do it.
Before that, there's a battle. A battle in the person's mind, because they have the potential and they also have the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov, and that is still happening inside one's mind.
Right.
They can want to change.
So they want to do it, and then there's the other side, which tells them, wait a minute, maybe you're biting off more than you can chew.
It's better because when you overcome the Yetzer Hara and it's more of a challenge, it's when things are easy, it's more, like a genius in math, it's already comes in their mind, they have it easy. But for someone who has challenging, it's more of a wow, if you overcome something, that was very challenging.
Okay, overcoming, that's lower down already. That's much lower on the developmental stage. First, you have to think of what are the challenges going to be. First, you envisage the challenges. And then you have to make a decision if you're ready to meet these challenges or not. Or do you want to modify them? Or do you want to modify your desire to get involved? Okay, that's what's going on. So the first step is to recognize that here's something that is exciting for me. I like it. The second step is to analyze what is it going to take to do it. What are its different components? That's the analytical side of things. How long does this project take? How much does it cost? What talents do you need? What's required for us to carry out this experiment? What do we need? Do we need cooperation? Do we need money? Do we need space? Do we need an office? Do we need a laboratory? Do we need brains? Do we need help? What do we need? All these factors. And then we harmonize them because we want to keep focus on the connection with the basic idea. What is the basic idea we're dealing with here? I like it. I'm afraid of it. But what is it? Let's stay focused on what the idea is. That's stage number 3. Stage number 4 is what you're getting at, Adina. The inner drive to do it. Not to be distracted, not to be discouraged, but to push and push and push and push and get it done. Or in terms of music, like to practice and practice and practice and practice, or athletics, to train and train and train and train, really work at it, working at it. So that's step number 4, is working at it. But you can overdo your working at it. So therefore, you have to have a coach and hone down and beautify your whole approach so that it's mucho effective, totally effective. That's step number 5. Step number 6 is marketing. Remember who this is for. Again, this is again the idea of focusing on the idea. Who is it for? Who's your audience? Just doing it for yourself? Or is this going to be it's going to have a wider effect? Is it going to influence other people for good or not for good? That's step number 6. Step number 7 is you did it. Absolutely. Just like making Shabbos.
But even when you do it and there's difficult times because Hashem puts it in your way as a distraction, if let's say you got to the point where you're at, the key is that even when you're going through your darkest times, when you switch back because something didn't go the way, as in this journey, even if it's all the steps you said, you have to have patience, because even when you're doing everything right and you're doing all this and like mitzvahs and this and having it all, sometimes it can be life, it can be a money situation, and that's the ultimate test. If all this work and if it's for nothing, or you're patient and say good things take time.
Okay, that's all true. But what we're talking about now is just the makeup of how things happen. Okay, what is the whole process? We're discussing the process now, how it happens. So we have 3 intellectual factors and 7 motivational drivers. All right? And influencing these drivers are the inner feelings of Love, I love what I'm doing, and fear. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to overstep. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I don't want to alienate my audience. So we have the two sides. I love it, but I have to be very careful how I do it. That's love and fear. Where do love and fear come from? How do I get them into this equation? So the answer we were discussing yesterday is step number 1, on your way to school, look up into the heavens. And think about everything that you know in the world. Think of everything you could think of. Whatever you've noticed in your growing up process that made an impression on you, think about it. Where does it get its life from? What is the source of life in everything in the whole world? That's Hashem. And we call that, we gave it a name yesterday, we wrote it on the board, Mamale Kol Almin, that Hashem, we want to think now, this is an exercise of meditation. In order to get love and fear into our activities, because we need to have this sensitivity in what we're doing. We have to think about love, we have to think that Hashem is the source of life in every single thing in the whole world. That's vast. We think of the multitude of things that there are in the world. All of them get their life from this source. That's one thing. And the power, the tremendous power in everything. Like I'm sure you, Adina, you've been to Niagara Falls. You saw the tremendous power in the water surging over the escarpment. And all of this power and all this multitudinous life in the whole world is called Mamale Kol Almin, how Hashem fills the world with life. So that's step 1, meditation, is to think about how Hashem fills the whole world with life. Step 2 is to realize, to remember that for the world to exist, Hashem has to hide. Because if Hashem doesn't hide, where's the world going to go? Before the world was created, there was nothing. Nothing that we could define. There was just Hashem. So now we just think into this concept. Before the world was created, there was just Hashem. Where is he going to put the world? If he doesn't create a place for the world to go, then it's not going to happen. Because anything that's created and Hashem is still fully revealed will just be absorbed in Hashem. Like if you have a big bonfire and you have a candle, and you put the candle in the bonfire, you don't see the candle anymore. It just becomes part of the bonfire. There was once a physicist in my house. He described an experiment where they have a tremendously hot oven with glass that could withstand the heat, and they have a metal heat-resistant rod, and they put this rod into the furnace, and they could see the different colors that the rod turns as it goes into, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, until finally you can't see the rod anymore. That the rod becomes one thing with the fire. You don't see it anymore. It's just part of the fire. So similarly, if Hashem doesn't hide, then everything just becomes part of Hashem. There's no creation anymore. So Hashem has to hide. The word for hiding in Hebrew is helem. sort of like the cheese, ha'olam. Helem is the same root as the word for world. Olam is the name of the cheese. Ha'olam means the world. And this teaches us that for the world to exist, Hashem has to hide. And on this level of Hashem, Hashem doesn't recognize the world. There's only Hashem. It's a higher level of awareness entirely. And it's called Soive, that Hashem is transcendent, is higher than the world, and doesn't even recognize the world. Hashem doesn't stop being Hashem just because he hides. Just we can't perceive him. And it's necessary that we can't perceive Hashem, because if we perceive Hashem, we have no free choice anymore. If you see Hashem before you, it's like someone standing with a gun at your head. Of course you're going to be obedient. But obedience is not choosing. It's not free choice. Free choice is the highest faculty you possess. Who else has free choice? Hashem has total free choice to do whatever he wants. So therefore, the Torah tries to guide us to make the right kinds of choices. Good choices, beneficial choices. But in order for us to have a choice, has to be something that we choose not to do. We have to reject the bad choice. And commit to do the good choice. And we spoke about this as an example of this higher level, that if you want to communicate with somebody, you press a button and you can speak to them in Thornhill or California or Miami or France, Italy, Israel, England, Ukraine, wherever you want, and the walls don't stop it. This operates on a level that doesn't recognize walls that are existing at all. So similarly, this higher level of godliness that we say surrounding level of godliness is not surrounding from the outside. There is no outside. There is only Hashem. There's no inside. There's no up. There's no down. There's no right. There's no left. There's only God. That's a higher level of godly awareness that keeps everything in place. That's what keeps the world in place. And once the world is in place, then Hashem fills it with life. So we have two levels here. The way God fills the world with life. And the second level is the way Hashem is higher, totally higher than the world. Like we said yesterday, I repeated this teaching that I learned from a boy when I first came here. I asked him, what do these terms mean? And he said, each one has a message. The message of level number one is that Hashem fills the world with life. The message of level number two is that there is no world. There is only Hashem. And then there's a third level to think about in this meditation. The third level is to remember that both level number one, level number two are both sides of a coin that's called world. World. And Hashem is higher than that too. Either he fills the world or he doesn't recognize the world, but it's still the world. But he's more than that too. And if we'll think of these three things, we'll do a meditation. Think of these three things, then there will, the Tanya tells us, there will be aroused inevitably in our heart a feeling of love and a feeling of fear, feeling of awe. We discussed this yesterday, different levels of the feeling of fear. And this becomes like an inner life in the Torah we learn and the mitzvahs that we do. And the clock tells me I'm going to have to stop talking. It's time for morning prayers. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow, 8:30, we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you have any questions, write them down so you don't forget. We'll start the class tomorrow with your questions.
Thank you.
Go.
It's a comedy show, that's why.
Bushi for Petra. Hi, Bushi.
Thank you.
You guys smell good.
Have a good day.
Have a wonderful day, girls. Look at how beautiful it is outside.
I'll tell you.
Pamička. Nagila.
Thank you, Rabbi.
What? What's the talk? Yeah.
I actually.
Oh, what a cute dress. You never wore it.
It's from my birthday last week. Yeah.
Can you just impress, please? Wow, Petra, it looks so nice on you.
Thank you. I did have her yesterday, and I found two skirts that I think is very tight. Yeah. Very similar to this. I think.
It's so sweet. In her fur.
Okay, I'm sorry. You don't like it?
No, yeah.
I was thinking about you.
You're so sweet.
Who's that the things that writing still, did you finish? Yeah, did you check out? At what time? It was great stuff.
No.
Really good.
I was telling that like 2.
She was wearing that knee, so.
No, I finished.
Hey,
So
so
I don't like to like. I have things in mind. I like to finish them.
And access Shabbos stuff.
How was your first class?
Really, really good.
Yeah, she's so nice.
Yeah, it's really good. She's trying to like catch everything, so
Right.
just like to sink in. Cause I have my own answers, so can we, not even just the things that I've learned,
Right.
of course, it's like, cool.
But you can do Chabur stuff.
I mean, I'm saying what he's talking about, we're just not talking about that specifically, we're talking about, you know, what it's like, how you. You're speaking only one thing, I just basically added on to it, so it's only like. Yes, good. That's fine. And the next one is what part?
Uh-huh.
What else is after that?
I don't know, I'm not so curious.
There's no rice.
What do you mean? Oh. Did we say? Did you ask? Someone saying like, yeah, check the closet.
The rice cakes. This is an issue.
And there's no college too.
So
So you gotta eat the rice cake.
maybe downstairs.
No, I'm saying, I think there's
I
downstairs.
have some crackers if you want.
She has some crackers.
Okay. I can have some crackers.
Yes, you want some crackers? She has. We give you.
Yes, please.
I need the one.
Bye bye now.
How are you?